Morning, everyone. It is Monday, May 30th, 2022, and I just woke up. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are already docked at Coco Cay. This is Megan's birthday, by the way, and we're here at Coco Cay for her birthday. And I was actually woken up by a ship announcement, and I got up and opened my cabin, the stateroom door, because I thought maybe we could only hear it in the hallway. But it wasn't on our ship. It was on the ship that's docked next to us, which I'll show you in a second. And I'm trying, oh, it's Mariner. It's Mariner of the Seas. I can see it on the lifeboat over there. So Mariner of the Seas, which is our last cruise we were on before the pandemic, last cruise we were on altogether, is across the way from us. And I will show you that. That's the last ship we were on. So that's kind of cool because I'm going to do a little comparison here for you with three differences that I've kind of noticed that really aren't necessarily differences between the two ships, but are differences in my experience between our cruise on that ship and our cruise on this ship. So stay tuned for that. Hi again. Okay, so three things I want to tell you that I've thought about that we're noticing that are a little different about our cruises on Mariner of the Seas, which was our last cruise in August of 2018, and this cruise on Harmony of the Seas in late May of 2022. So these cruises are the last cruise we took before the pandemic and the first cruise we've taken since the pandemic and the shutdown and everything, and they were almost 4 years apart. I'm not really actually going to talk about the health protocols or anything like that. Masks are actually completely optional at this point on Royal Caribbean, and in most of the places that you go, we are choosing to still wear our masks inside whenever we're in the inside spaces on the ship, because the cases are actually going up again right now. We just really take a lot of care in protecting ourselves. But there's three things that I want to comment on. Okay, the first is our stateroom. Interestingly, on both of these cruises we were on deck 10, but on Mariner of the Seas we were in an aft facing balcony stateroom, and in this one we're just in a standard balcony stateroom, which I booked extremely last minute, which I've discussed in previous videos. So I got basically, I think, the last available ocean facing balcony stateroom on Harmony of the Seas on this cruise, because I booked this cruise literally only 48 hours before it sailed. When I booked the Mariner of the Seas cruise, I don't know, I booked it probably at least several months before we went on it. Okay, even though Harmony of the Seas is a significantly bigger ship than Mariner of the Seas, this stateroom is significantly smaller than the one we had over there. And not only is the room itself pretty tight, but I can see looking over there that the people sitting across from me on their balcony is bigger than my balcony. So I think what the deal is there is, because Mariner of the Seas is a smaller ship than Harmony of the Seas and any of the ships in the Oasis class, on the Oasis class they're really trying to pack in as many rooms as possible to get as many people as possible on this ship. And so I think that the staterooms on the Oasis class ships are quite a bit smaller, and the balconies are smaller than the balconies, at least the balconies, than the balcony staterooms on the Voyager class, which is Voyager, Explorer, Mariner, Adventure. I'm probably forgetting one. So that's something to consider. This room is pretty tight. Now, we did have an aft-facing balcony on Mariner of the Seas, and so that one was especially spacious, and our balcony was especially large. But I can definitely see right here, looking at my balcony and looking, there's a couple sitting right across from me, Their balcony is significantly bigger than mine, and we're in the exact same deck and the exact same place on the ship from fore to aft. So this room is pretty tight, and if you're a larger person, not necessarily height, I think you'd be okay. The beds are pretty long, but if you're a bigger person, you know, a fluffier cruiser, you might have a little trouble. Getting in the door is pretty tight. Getting past the foot of the bed is very tight, and the bathroom is really small. And so one thing I noticed is like just us being able to move around with each other in there is a lot more challenging than it was in our room on Mariner. And also the bathroom, it's really noticeable. The counter space, like next to the sink, and the storage space, we're still fine, but those are much smaller than they were on Mariner, and there's a lot less space. So that's the first kind of thing that I noticed. Okay, second thing that I want to talk about is onboard spending. Now, I am kind of famous for saying that I tell my kids when we go on a cruise, if it costs extra, the answer is no. Now, for the most part, that's true. There's a couple of reasons I'm not really doing that on this cruise. One is it's a special cruise. It's a celebratory cruise to celebrate Megan's birthday, and it's also a celebratory cruise to celebrate selling our house and my hitting my 1,000 subscriber milestone. So it's kind of a special cruise, and so I'm a little less, you know, strict about that. The second reason is I have way more money now. I have lots more money because I just sold the house, and so I have a lot more money to spend, and I'm a lot more freer about my spending, at least right now. I can't do that for very long, but for right now I do. And like even yesterday before we got on the ship, Ben said, boy, it sure is nice to have money. And it is. It definitely, you feel more free and relaxed when you have money to spend. When you're having to worry about every little penny and counting exactly how much money and how much is this costing and worrying about that all the time, that's definitely stressful and lessens the overall relaxing feel and enjoyment of a vacation or a trip of any kind, really. Okay, on that note, and this is going to bring me to another video I'm going to make right after this with onboard spending. I have spent $1,400 on this cruise so far on board. Now, when I booked the cruise, I did prepay my gratuities for all the service staff for the crew, and I did prepay the insurance, okay? Now, those are two things that I would prepay normally on any cruise. If you have the option to prepay them, I always think it's a good idea to prepay them when you book the cruise, or at least before you go on the cruise, so that you don't have to worry about those later. You still always have the option to give your crew members additional money, like in cash or on your account once you're on the ship. So if you get really exceptional service and you want to give them more, that's never a problem. But that got me thinking about something. I definitely do prepay as many things as possible. And it can be very difficult not to spend additional money, especially on a Royal Caribbean cruise or any of the big resort type mainstream cruise lines, Carnival, MSC, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, any of those. It's almost impossible not to spend additional money beyond just the price of the cruise itself. And the reason I say that is there's a lot of nickel and diming going on these big cruise lines like this. You can still do it, and I did it on Mariner. I didn't spend any extra money, really. No, I didn't, because we didn't even do any excursions on Mariner of the Seas on our last cruise, which was only a 4-night, because we didn't get off the ship in Nassau, and we only went to Coco Cay here, which I'm coming to in a minute, and so we didn't spend any extra money to do that. And I really did say, if it costs extra, the answer is no. We did not get any kind of drinks package on our Mariner of the Seas cruise. We literally just drank water at dinner, and we drank what was available for free in the buffet in the Windjammer. We drank like water and the juice that was there. And I didn't get any excursions. And I did buy the photo package, but I prepaid that before I went on the cruise. So I didn't actually pay for it on board. We didn't go to the spa. we didn't have any extra charge activities. So I literally didn't spend any extra money on our Mariner of the Seas cruise at all. Now here, the reason I've already spent $1,400, the main reason is because I booked so late. The window to prepay for extra things on the cruise had already closed, and I couldn't pre-book my excursions. I couldn't pre-book my drinks package. I couldn't pre-book my internet. I couldn't prepay for the photos, anything like that. So I had to do all of that yesterday when we first got on board. So it's not that I necessarily wouldn't pay for extra things beyond the price of the cruise. It's that I couldn't prepay for them on this cruise. And so the things I pre-booked is I got a photo package because we like to get lots of photos. So that is an extra expense, I guess I should say, that I always do get on every cruise we go on. Because we like to dress up for dinner and we like to take nice family photos because it's one of the only times that we get them. Secondly, I did get us all the soda package, the unlimited soda package for the week, which includes things like the Coke Freestyle machine. So it's, it's high C and lemonade and all of that, which means we can also get it at dinner and we can also get it on the island here. And that's nice. And then a crew member from Mariner is waving at me. And then I got the internet package for me and for Megan. And you're going to think this is funny. I did want to be able to upload to Instagram and things like that. But the main reason I got the internet package is because I have an 800-day streak on Duolingo. And Megan has like a 600-day streak on Duolingo. And we did not want to lose our streaks on Duolingo. I found out, I researched, I'm like, I really wish Duolingo would give you a way to freeze your streak for longer than one day. Because like when we go to Europe, that's going to be a problem. I don't want to lose my streak for my language learning. I study French, Spanish, Italian, and German on Duolingo, and Megan studies French, Korean, and Japanese. So we don't want to lose our streaks. But if you don't have internet, you can't do it. You can't do your daily lessons. I wish that Duolingo had a way. I'll pay for it just to be able to save my streak for a week or two while I'm traveling, which I think is kind of silly because it's a thing about learning languages, which is related to travel. But then when you travel, you can't learn your languages. So anyway, okay. So I did get the internet for Megan and I, and then I had to book our shore excursions. I got one shore excursion each in St. Thomas and St. Kitts, and I got us the kids zip line here. One bummer thing, because I booked so late, we were not able to get the Thrill Water Park for the kids, and I think I've mentioned that already. So they're kind of disappointed about that. I really feel bad about that, but hopefully we can come back here another time and book a lot earlier and get the Thrill Water Park for them. It was completely sold out. And now that I see that there's 2 big ships in port here today, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess those were the main things. So it was that stuff. It was our shore excursions, my photo package, our soda packages, and pictures, and the internet. I paid for all of that once I got on board. Now, those are things I might have gotten normally, but I would have booked them ahead of time. And you definitely do save money booking them ahead of time. It was expensive to book them on the first day of the cruise. So just keep that in mind. Pre-book everything that you can, and then you really can probably not spend anything on board if you really try. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is the difference in Coco Cay. The last time we were here, which I made a video about it, which I'll link up here, none of the perfect day at Coco Cay had been done yet. It was under construction. We couldn't even dock here. We had to tender. And the day that we were here in August of 2018, we were the only ship. Mariner was the only ship here. I just realized something. Mariner was at Port Canaveral the day before we left. So they either had a sea day and got here a lot slower, or they went to Nassau yesterday maybe. I'll have to see if I can find somebody from Mariner and ask them. I don't know what their itinerary is, but it's interesting that they left Port Canaveral the day before we did, but they got here on the same day as us. It's interesting. Okay, anyway. The island is completely transformed. I mean, first of all, there's now a dock, which they were building the last time we were here. And there was like a bunch of construction vehicles and everything, but none of it really affected the guest experience here on the island the last time we were here. but it's completely different now, and there's all stuff that wasn't here before, so that's going to be all new to us. So that's the main thing. That's a big difference between our last cruise and this cruise in coming to Coco Cay. So there you go. Those were 3 significant differences between our last cruise and this cruise. 2 different Royal Caribbean cruises, almost 4 years apart. One before the pandemic, one since. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please consider subscribing. Have a great day, everyone, and safe travels.